Okay, we're officially live.
Officially live.
Our very first one.
Very first podcast.
Okay, you wanted to show me something?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, and this is with that iVideo thing that's on all the iPhones.
Right.
My niece uses it to do all her stuff. And I was trying to think, like, keep in mind, this is like 2 in the morning. I'm tired, but I'm still super excited about doing a podcast with my buddy. So trying to figure out, like, okay, if we do it, like, we got to have, like, an intro or something, or I was like, this is sounding super cheesy, and I think probably the lack of sleep was getting to my head. So I did this little, like, maybe 10-second clip just to play with all the different sounds on the phone that came with. So here's the...
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mike and Chris's Comic Talk.
And then I got, like, a picture, and the audience all clapping, and then it just stops.
Dude, that's better than what I've made so far.
But it has, like, all these different things and sound effects, so I thought it'd be kind of cool. And
dude, yeah, we should definitely fool around with it, man. This is like, I imagine we'll release this, like, way farther down the road.
This is the bonus material.
This is like the special features. Being like, holy cow, that was their first one?
Like, that was horrible.
You know what my bad habit is like, whenever something starts recording, I had done Christian radio, like a Christian radio talk show for like 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, like at the very end, you just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
But because this is like a new thing, and this is actually something I'm excited to talk about, I'm worried that like once we start recording, like, holy shit, am I gonna sound like I'm trying too hard to be funny?
Oh yeah, you know, I was thinking the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
It was pathetic. Like, I don't know if you even noticed when I came in, I had this little book over here that I brought with
Dude,
me, and
don't
I
even worry
was like, I
about
gotta
it.
have like little topics and stuff. And I pulled out a project I did from college.
Nice.
About Kevin Smith, who's a big influence for both you and
Yeah.
me. And
I think we basically blame him for us actually doing this.
yeah, so
Yeah.
when my girlfriend gets pissed at me, I can tell her, take it up with him, not me. I'm innocent.
Pretty much, man.
So
Dude. Okay, so first things first, I wanted to give you something as like a official, like this is when you open it, you'll see what it. I'll walk you through my thought process.
Now. I felt like I forgot our anniversary or something. People that can't see this, it's pretty awesome. There's Batman, Flash, Superman, and the Green Lantern.
It's the only wrapping paper Sarah Beth never uses.
Never used it.
Yeah.
For the guy that loves comic books, he's like, I'm not doing this.
Right? It's basically a DC themed wrapping paper, but I think she bought it for like my birthday. Like, it got to be maybe 2-3 years ago at this point. And she only uses it for my birthday.
That's a long
like not
roll.
even for Christmas, I think. But she's like, oh my gosh, I have a whole freaking roll of nerd comic.
I like it. It's not even for Christmas, but there's ornaments and snowflakes on there, but it's for your birthday.
Dude, I didn't even realize. Yeah, there's like a Batman snowflake and shit.
All right, let's open this baby, see what it is. I'm not the kind that saves wrapping paper,
Nah.
but this one's pretty enough. I might frame parts of it.
Just give it up, dude. It's good. It's just wrapping paper.
The Killing Joke. Oh, man.
So the reason why I figured this would be a good starting off point, because I kind of blame this book for giving us the idea of, hey, well, let's do a podcast, because when was it? Last week, Monday, we saw The Killing Joke, the movie.
Yes.
The theatrical release, the one night only release, and we both had opinions about it. And
Very strong opinions, yes.
Yeah.
I remember, in fact, I've never read The Killing Joke, and it was about maybe 6-7 months ago I asked you about it, and you're like, oh, I got it, and you loaned it to me, and I must have read that thing I don't know how many times. I loved it.
Really?
It was amazing.
See, I thought you would read it once through and say, oh yeah, that was good.
No, I was
Yeah?
like, I liked it, especially
Nice.
the ending, but yeah.
Dude.
You
So-
got like a little note in here, too. Chris, here's to our new podcast journey. The adventures await your friend Mike. Thank
I'm
you,
sorry,
bud.
it's super cheesy.
No, I like it, man. I'm going to cherish this. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, dude. I figured it's probably, I feel like it's a good starting off point, because it was like 11 o'clock, and we were talking in Taco Bell.
Oh,
And
we
I mean-
closed that place down.
Two fatties being like, yeah, let's shut it down. You know, most people will shut down a bar.
Yeah.
Some people will shut down a restaurant, and me and Chris, we're eating Taco Bell.
We're eating Taco Bell, talking about comic book movies, and that was, on top of the movie, which was a good movie, but at certain points. But man, that was a weird night at Taco Bell.
That was a really weird night. Even before we get into our short review It might not even be short. But our
with two Portuguese
no.
talking. Those
Two Portuguese talking is like, yeah. So, oh my gosh, what happened first?
Well, what was unbelievable was how packed it. Which for Hilo, that's normal.
Yeah.
Taco Bell. If you're gonna get Taco Bell, don't ever go into the drive-through line. You always have to walk inside.
Yeah.
But we get in there and you can't even walk around. Like I'm shoulder to shoulder with people.
It was probably the busiest I've ever seen it.
Yeah. And it was around 11, or no, movie ended, so it's like around 9:30, 10, around there. And I don't know what they were, but there was like a big family in there. I don't know if you remember, but like someone kept touching my ass while I was waiting in line.
It was weird.
It was like
it was legitimately weird.
It was sitting, and it happened. It wasn't like a quick bump more than like, oh, I'm sorry. It just kept happening.
You know, I think they were like Indian or Middle Eastern or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're used to really big crowds, and so they're used to being up in each other's business.
If they're Indian, they see this big guy like me, and they're like, oh, it's a cow. And so they're trying to, I don't know, pay tribute to me. I don't know.
Oh, dude! Oh my God, that's brilliant. They like order like chicken tacos because the beef is sacred.
I'm over there more so they're feeling guilty. We can't eat beef.
Dude, yeah, man, they were copping a field.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
You know, I think there was more than one family. There's one in front of us, one behind us, and then there was this like there's you and I in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
But there was this one girl that was in front of us.
Oh,
while we were waiting.
While I was getting groped, he was waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was bearing witness and trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
I felt like Buddha. The whole family kept on rubbing up on me. Father, wife, son, daughter.
They're making wishes and shit.
That's what it was. Rub his ass and good luck. I remember I got to the point like I was like I had to stand next to you. Yeah. Like I moved away from them.
Yeah.
And then you and I are shoulder to shoulder, side by side, and then there was this woman right in front of us.
There's this woman right in front of us, and I swear to God, like this never happens to me. Like never. But suddenly, this woman, who I think she was on her phone or something, suddenly puts her phone away, and she's
like mid-20s now, fairly
young, in our age range. So it's not like it wasn't like it was a 14-year-old girl that was doing this, and we were like, oh my gosh, like this isn't sexy. This is a felony.
But she was one of those hippie kind girls, so
yeah. And so suddenly she's standing in front of us. She puts her phone away and she just bends down in front of us. And I'm not talking about like you squat down to pick up something. Like we're talking like.
Well, she started her hands up on like the arch of her back almost, right. And then she just slid them all the way down her legs to her ankles, and I'm like
knees are locked, like that straight legged bend.
Yeah.
At the waist, and Chris and I just.
I thought twerking music was going to turn on soon. I'm like, Miley Cyrus is in front of us incognito.
And we were like, what the hell do we do? Like, you and I, we look at each other and we're just like, we immediately looked at the ceiling and looked at the menu.
Yeah, that was like one of those priceless moments. I would have loved to see the security camera. Just like these two guys all of a sudden heads go straight up. One's like, okay, where's Ashton Kutcher? This has to be on Punk.
Yeah, and so, yeah, she was holding that stretch for a while. Now, I understand, like, if, maybe she had like a lower back injury and she was, trying to like stretch out her lower back or something. But oh my God, it was freaking classic. Because it's not like I ever have women coming up to me and say, hi.
Well, see, that's why I grow the beard. I hide this handsome face.
Got to make sure it's, you hide all the sexy.
Yes, I love Stacy, and that's my girlfriend. But she gets a little ghetto sometimes. I'm pretty sure she'll cut a bitch.
The thing is, like, Sarah Beth is too oblivious. My wife is too oblivious to she's oblivious to the fact that other guys look at her ass all the time.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, it's super juicy. Of course other guys are going to be looking, saying, no, that's not true. And we were having a conversation. It was like, well, what would you do if, you saw another woman flirting with me? Then, then she, well, I don't think I'm a very jealous person, but I feel like I would be defensive. You ever seen that post? It's like two deers in a photo, and like the deer behind the first deer is like licking the other deer's neck. And the caption is like, what happens when I see someone checking out Bay?
yeah.
And so Sarah Beth, I would probably do that. Like, I might get up on your business a little bit more, like get a little bit closer to you to, claim your territory or something. But yeah, it was, where the fuck am I going with this?
I don't know. I'll be honest. Like, when you were telling me, like, what would you do if you saw another woman come up and talk to me? Like, I thought you were asking me, like, if I saw another woman come up and talk to Stacy, I'd be like, oh, all right.
Best day ever!
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so Killing Joke.
Killing Joke, yes. We'll get back to the Killing Joke here.
Number one. Okay, let's talk about the source material. Written by Alan Moore, art by Brian Bolland. What's really cool is they re-released this book because I think it's like in the forward, Brian Bolland is talking about like his point of view back when it first released, and like he didn't have enough time to do the coloring himself. So I think he did the art. He might have done the inking, but then he had somebody else color it. So the original coloring
So he's a tracer. I'm just kidding.
Kevin Smith reference for the win. And so yeah, he in this book or in this release, he colored everything himself. And so for me, I have a hard time, and I hate to say this as a comic book fan, but I have a hard time with older comic books because I feel like the art style is pretty old. It's the colors is that classic 4-color, like wow, this it just looks old
Like
school
almost
for me.
pastel.
Yeah, pastel kind of like kind of artwork. But what captured me was all the colors in this book because it was so vibrant,
It's
colorful.
It's detailed and vibrant and colorful, and it just pops.
And so, I actually have a copy of the original release. I'll show it to you, but like, in the flashback scenes.
That sounds a little dirty.
Shit. So I walked right into that one too. But basically, yeah, like the colors in the original comic were so soap. So when they re-released it, Brian Bolland redid the colors, and so I feel like it's a lot more vibrant. And what's cool is it translated pretty well to film or like to a movie.
Well, when they stuck with it.
Yeah, when they stuck with it. Okay. For those who don't know what they did with The Killing Joke, can you give them a summary of what happened with the movie anyway?
Oh, by the way, spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, we're probably going to spoil the crap out of this movie because, if you've read the comic, you already know what happens at the end.
Yeah.
But, okay, go ahead.
Well, I liked it because, like, first of all, for me, like, growing up watching the animated series, that was always the voice of Batman for me, was Kevin Conroy. And then, of course, Mark Hamill as the Joker.
You know what's funny? A lot of people don't realize that Luke Skywalker, after he played Luke Skywalker, some people think he just disappeared into the ether. But no, he actually became a really famous voice actor, and he most famously voiced the Joker in the animated series, the series that you and I probably grew up watching.
Loved it.
The 90s Bruce Timm. Yeah.
Great series. I remember watching it all the time.
Yeah.
Loved the toys, especially.
Oh my gosh, I had so many Batman toys. I'll talk about that later, though. Go ahead.
But so in the movie that did The Killing Joke, the first half of the movie is something that's not even in the book that they re-released. Completely different. It's got the same voice actor for Batman, and it has like little snippets back to like Joker and stuff. It's got Commissioner Gordon in there, of course.
Yeah.
And it's got Batgirl on there. And
Batgirl is a prevalent role in the first half of the Killing Joke animated movie.
Yeah, it's basically a story just about the two of them fighting this single bad guy, the nephew of some mob boss.
Yeah.
And it got kind of creepy a little bit. There were some scenes in there.
It was dark, dude.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, the Killing Joke itself, the book is really short. And so I think they said they animated just that part, and it came out to like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So they were like, if we're going to charge full price for this movie, people are going to expect more.
A longer,
a longer movie.
I expected they'd have fillers in between The Killing Joke. They want to add that first half on.
Yeah, that's true. Like, instead of making a whole prequel story, maybe just add in things here and there. Yeah. That might have been better. I actually would have preferred if they had just did The Killing Joke itself and take out the
like a half-hour movie instead of here and there. I'd be fine with that.
Like have it play like a Justice League episode or like a Batman animated series episode. Because they're able to tell a really good story in 23 minutes without commercials, give or take. But yeah, the whole prequel stuff. Like you said, it's Batman and Batgirl taking on.
Well, yeah, there's like this punk guy. Yeah, he's like a nephew of a mob boss, and the guy is a very uses women, treats them as objects. So he's not threatened at all by Batgirl. The whole thing, he's even leaving her little gifts, like like calling her "Hey Toots," "Hey Babe."
Yeah, he's leading her on. Right?
Yeah, and he's even like he leaves her a gift, like when you first met me. He leaves her a phone, and they're talking and stuff.
Right.
And he's always like talking to her like it's a girlfriend. And the the one thing I liked about it was how Batman, because he was saying it's a trap, don't go. And, and she's like, I can handle it. And he goes, no, he's no longer afraid of you.
Yeah,
I like that part.
Yeah, there's a part where Batgirl's trying to convince Batman to let her stay on the case, and Batman says, "No, he's no longer afraid of you. Like what else did he say? He's something like
I want him nervous.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want him nervous.
I think he's nervous for maybe another reason, but
Dudes, you know what? That was a good part. You got to give credit where credit's due, and that was good writing.
yeah.
And did you catch the name of the criminal though?
See, I was this whole time
Dude,
trying to remember the name.
It was, I think the last name was Francesco, but there was this little nod in the middle of everything that was like, and his name is Paris France, or his
Yes.
alias is Paris France. I'm like, oh my god, really?
Yeah, like,
It's like who? Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of a guy named Paris France, but
yeah. But it was weird because what I think what caused a lot of people to have problems with this movie when they do watch it for the first half is there's this scene where Batman basically kicked her from the case and they meet up on a rooftop and she's mad at him. She's punching him, telling him, I can handle myself.
yeah,
And she got to the point like she actually got Batman on his back. Like she threw him over. He's laid out. She gets on
Yeah.
top. She's about to punch him, and then we're like, "Yeah, hit him!" And then all of a sudden, she just leans in and kisses him. Like, "Oh, that's different," And
Yeah.
things progressed
fast,
very fast.
like no foreplay.
I always
Basic-
thought
yeah.
the Batgirl suit was like a jumper and there's a zipper. Apparently, it's
Right.
just a shirt you just pull right over your head.
Apparently so. And she doesn't even wear a sports bra. It's just a normal bra that she wears underneath. And as an animated film, like I was surprised, like, oh, okay, animated bra, animated boobs. Oh, okay, all right, that's happening.
Well, the part I remember, like when the shirt came off and they're kissing, you start hearing a little bit of moaning, and then it like cuts up to a gargoyle because they're on a rooftop.
Okay, see, I thought that was creepy. Like
Yes.
it cut it like basically, Batgirl gets Batman on his back. She takes off her bat cowl and her top half,
Yeah.
and then the camera pans up and there's a gargoyle. I thought it just looks like the gargoyle is just totally perving out on these two bats.
Goliath's up there going, yeah. From the old 90s
From
cartoon.
the old 90s cartoon. He's just like, oh god, this is awkward.
He's like, you don't know what they made me watch.
Oh man, yeah. So basically, yeah, a Batman-Batgirl sex scene.
Yeah, and they didn't show it, but they like just the way they presented it.
They gave a notion that it happened.
it happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you think that intensified the story of?
I think they could have done without. Honestly.
Yeah, they probably could have.
'Cause it was like
Yeah.
it was like that creepy factor because here's this guy. He's like, hey, I'm going to take you under my wing. We're going to fight crime together, and then
Yeah.
we're going to get really naughty on a rooftop someday. It's like
Yeah.
that whole teacher student kind of a thing. It's just I believe it's grounds you don't cross. you
Yeah,
know?
we shouldn't cross.
And,
that's
and
for damn sure.
Batman's whole number one thing is control.
Yeah.
Like maybe he lost his control that night, and any guy.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to say, hey, look, he's human too. He has human desires, but
Yeah.
I think just as fans, we were both like, and especially that we're fans of the '90s cartoon
Yes.
because in the '90s cartoon, Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon were a thing.
Yeah. And that's I always like that part.
Yeah, it made
It's like
sense.
young
that's why.
love.
Yeah,
Meeting up
it's-
people together for a first date.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. It's the teacher aspect and the student aspect, and the two students would hook up.
Yeah.
Maybe behind the teacher's back. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon knew that each other was Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah,
I think
I remember that was what caused problems between
Yeah.
Batman and
later on.
Dick.
Yeah, it came later ramifications of that anyway. But yeah, dude, I mean, honestly, the Batgirl sex scene was just, ugh.
Yeah, it was they could have done without. Now when they led up to that, and maybe they used that to show from spoilers from when the Joker gets out, and there was that scene where he's in the Aloha shirt and she
Right.
I'll be honest, when that part happened, because everyone knows that scene,
Everyone knows
where
what happens, yeah.
where the dad, where Gordon and the daughter in the house, then there's the knock at the door. When I
Right.
heard my stomach sank. I was
Yeah.
like, don't open it.
It's like,
I was
oh,
that person in the
God.
audience, run, bitch, run!
It's one of those like, don't run up the stairs or don't open the door.
Yeah.
You know what caught me off guard was in the comic. I always kind of figured that there's a knock at the door opens, and she sees Joker and she sees the gun, the revolver, and just from there he just pulls the trigger. What caught me off guard, it didn't catch me off guard, but it was just like even more of a like, holy crap. There's a little pause, like she realizes who it is, and then the gun doesn't go off; it moves in, and it goes point blank to like her spinal cord.
Yeah, right up to her.
Right up to her, and so he knows exactly where he's aiming. Like he did it on purpose. Like he didn't just shoot from the hip and just by chance he hit her in the vertebrae and she can no longer walk again, which is like the big thing about the Killing Joke that people remember. And matter of fact, it carried into continuity.
Yes.
From that point on, for years, Barbara Gordon wouldn't walk.
Well, at this point too in the movie though, because after her and Batman got bat freaky, and then they finally caught the guy, she almost
bat freaky. We have to copyright that right now.
She she ended up catching the guy. The guy set a trap for Batman. She caught him, but at that point though, when she caught him, she nearly beat him to death.
Right.
At this point, because she realizes that nothing will be the same between her and Batman. And
right.
I think everything just let loose on that guy, and right after then, she basically quit. She turned in her old bat suit to Batman, and it was supposedly sometime later. So there was that point where she just kind of hesitated. I think because she's not been Batgirl for a while, that maybe she got
that's
her
true.
reflexes got lax. I don't know. Looking too much.
That or honestly, when you open up a door, you don't anticipate a villain to be right there.
The Joker right there.
Yeah, just friggin' shoot you point blank.
Some clown with a gun. Oh, I think the birthday party's down that way. 2 more doors to the left.
Man. What is that sketch from College Humor? Remember when they got the birthday clown in the wrong interrogation cell?
Oh, yeah.
And the Joker is in the
My
wrong...
name's Jiggles!
So great.
You're garbage. Garbage is the other clown. He works Thursdays.
Where is he? Oh my God, who?
Great bit.
Oh, man.
But then going into the actual Killing Joke part, the part we all know from the book that you gave me, and then the comics, which I've never actually read the original comic book, which I feel like I just admitted to a sin right there.
No, you know what? Everybody has a jumping in point. Some people's later in life, some people's really early in life. I didn't get into comics until like early college.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So for me,
I'll be honest, as a kid, I pictured you as like a little comic book setup.
I had a few issues here and there, but I was never like super into it. I think just because it wasn't available.
Okay.
Like when I got really into it, it was when I went to the mainland and I found like a comic book shop, and at that point I had enough money to kind of like invest into comics, and I wasn't gonna invest money in like buying old back issues like first printing of the Killing Joke or like Watchmen first printing or whatever.
Mm.
It was all modern day stuff because it was $2.99. So DC had this whole advertisement thing that they put on their books. It was drawing the line at $2.99 because at that point comics were starting to get expensive. Like I think Marvel was like $3.99. So yeah, $4 for a 32-page book maybe. So that's the thing. Like it's not a cheap hobby, but for me, I enjoy it.
Oh, it's fun, and you've always been the comic book guy. I remember like we'd be watching a movie or something. There was a character I wasn't too familiar about. I'm like, I gotta ask Mike who this is.
It's like, what's going on? What's funny is like, I don't know how I became that guy either. I guess I just read a lot, and I don't know. I've just always been into these characters, and they've always meant something to me. It's guarantee there's more people that are more into it than I am, but
there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish. Yeah. That's for damn sure.
See, I've always been into the movies and stuff.
As a kid, when you would play with action figures and stuff, did you ever like think to yourself, "Oh man, if they made a movie about this, it would be so cool"?
I was doing my own little screenplays with my Batman toys and stuff. It was like, dude. In this one, the Joker does die.
Dude, right? For me, it was always team ups.
Yes,
I would always love team ups. So Batman and Superman were my two big ones. Batman and Spider-Man, like a Marvel DC crossover.
Okay.
That was always mind blowing.
See, everyone says I was spoiled, but I had a lot of hand-me-downs. So my team-ups was like Batman and like a 2-foot tall G.I. Joe. That was my brother's.
Oh, that's great. When I was a kid, I would label my toys, my action figures. I would have big guys. That would be my G.I. Joes, the big, the big 1-foot figures maybe. Then I would have like medium guys. And that would be like the Batmans, the Supermans, I think they were like 6-inch figures. Mm-hmm. And then I had little guys, and that was the Star Wars toys. Do you ever notice the Star Wars toys in our era was a little bit smaller than all the other toys?
Well, yeah, they're tiny up in space.
In Star Wars, 5'3" is a giant.
If Darth Vader was that small, like an Ewok, imagine how tiny that little guy was.
Oh, dude, that's great. Yeah, so like I would label like if my cousin came over and said, hey, you want to play big guys? Yeah, so we play with our G.I. Joes. Or, hey, you want to play little guys? We play with our Star Wars toys. So that's how I would label them as a kid.
See, I had two older sisters, so I was like, you want to play? I'm like, yeah, I'll grab Darth Vader. And they had Barbie, and I'm like, this is going to suck.
That might be the greatest crossover that has never been.
Yeah, that's... God, I hope there's no sex scene in that movie.
instead of I am your father, it's like, who is the father?
Yeah, oh, man.
Oh, crap.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Oh, God. Dude, so great.
So, for the last review of The Killing Joke, I think it'd be best if you went through it and talked about it.
Oh, man. You know what?
And I captioned bat sex, so you get to do the...
You know, honestly, I can't find anything wrong with this book itself.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Like, I think this might be one of the first comics that legitimately creeped me out.
Oh, it's creepy.
Dude, like,
yeah,
you see these
don't get it wrong.
Freaking midget freak babies things that are dressed up as, like, little girls.
Well,
that's legitimately creepy.
It's not only that. Like, yeah, it's very graphic. It's a very, they don't really show anything, but it's very graphic, very creepy, very detailed. Yeah. And I think also the way they did the art on it is also makes it scary, but just the storyline alone, it's dark, I think
it's super dark.
It is scary just on that point alone.
One of my favorite things about this book is the way the beginning ties into the very end. Like, the very beginning, Batman goes to see the Joker in Arkham Asylum, and there's a conversation. And the conversation, I'm sure anybody who has read comics knows this conversation, but it's the whole thing is like, hello, I came to talk. And then he says, I've been thinking about us lately, about you, about me. We're going to kill each other, aren't we? That conversation echoes in the very last fight scene in the movie and in the comic.
Yes.
So for me, I love that. Like where...
The full circle
where it loops itself around. And then, of course, at the very end, the Joker kills... He tells a joke. He doesn't kill a joke. But he tells a last joke in the book. And it's a legitimately funny joke. In my opinion.
Good.
Yeah, so for anybody who hasn't read it, oh my gosh, read it. It's
definitely look it up. I know you can find it at Target.
Amazon is probably even
definitely.
Cheaper. Yeah.
But if you haven't read it, if you haven't seen it, and if you like Batman, definitely one for the shelf to keep.
Just do it. That's all we have for this week. Tune in next time for more Comical Minds. I'm Mike Andrus.
Chris Tavares.
Take it easy, guys.